Hey guys, a little over 2 years ago, I stood in this very spot and announced why I'm starting a channel and why I felt compelled to aim to make a game. And being that this is my announcement that I'm taking an indefinite hiatus from my channel, I figured it's only fitting to announce in the same way. Straight up, I accomplished everything that I set out to do, learning YouTube, creating a series that was a clear, concise, linear way of learning Unreal Engine, and I even experimented quite a bit both with the devlog and really exploring gaming philosophy with the live streams. I've accomplished all of my goals with the channel, except for one, but I learned a lot along the way, and most profoundly, I learned what I care about most. And it's not what you think. It's not game development. And I learned this because about 6 months into the journey of starting my channel, I started a Discord. And at first, it was great. People joined the Discord in a spirit of participation, of joy. They wanted to share what they're developing. And we helped each other. We answered questions. We did tutorials for one another. It was really great. But as time went on, that atmosphere began to change. Instead of an atmosphere of, hey, let me help you with that, and let's take a look at what I'm doing, and can we collaborate? It became an atmosphere of, I need this, I'm trying to get this, help me with this. And it was very much about getting and receiving versus freely giving and celebrating whatever came about. A simple way to think about it is that whatever was binding us together, although it was enough to start, like just focusing on game development was enough to bind us together to begin, it was insufficiently deep to keep us together. And so about a year into the Discord, I decided to shut it down. And my heart was a little bit saddened, but only a little bit, because by that time, I had already discovered what I realized was good fellowship. Really, fellowship in the right spirit, the spirit I was looking for. And, well, we call it lovingly this little corner of the internet.
We're in a very interesting discussion in this little corner of the internet.
The TLC, been called a flotilla.
Chad's like the slow cooker of the corner. The stuff goes in there and he sort of simmers and the smells come out on Friday morning nameless.
How do I want to tie this back to TLC? I remember decorating this room in the beginning of 2022 when I was getting ready to start my YouTube series on building a game. But I remember that was the point where I was just binge listening to PVK, Pajot, Vervaeke. I knew about 6 months ago that I wanted to become more participatory in the corner. You have an intuition about these things in that, like, there's and Jung. Wait, one last thing is that Jung always, and Peterson says this too, it's like any desire that you have or any interest you have, it's never fully pure. It's never fully pure. So there's a part of Neil that's like, oh yeah, I'm going to talk about this and I'm going to get more subscribers on my YouTube channel, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I should hate that part of me. Like, I should hate it. But there's also a part of me that's like, we are building maps of meaning. I said this to you, but what we are attempting to do is, instead of this purely secular, materialist, naturalist world, we're basically saying, okay, the world is not that. Whatever the world is far bigger, far more mysterious than this secular, materialist world. So with that understanding that the world is far bigger, far more interesting, how do we rebuild our maps of meaning? The secular person would say maps of understanding, but what makes us all unique within the corner is that we understand that meaning is more foundational, more elementary, more important than, let's say, this. Like, we are first in a subjective lens. Like, we are, no matter what, we are in the subjective. And so as the corners become more and more important to me, I've become, it's like, participate in what you believe in. I realized that before any game product, before even the game making process itself, what I was looking for, what was more elemental to me, more fundamental, more important to me, was fellowship, was community. I was looking for fellow travelers, fellow explorers who wanted to explore the deeper questions. It's all connected together, right? So we have our overall culture, and the games that are celebrated and loved and valued, or anything that's celebrated and loved and valued, is going to be connected to that culture. And the realization was that a collaborative game-making process, to the extent it takes place, it's always downstream of community. The only person who could really create a great game is, I would say, the true artist, whatever art is and whatever true is. And because the true artist has to bring forth what helps the people. It has to be, because otherwise, if nobody appreciates it, loves it, is changed by it, if art does not change the person, then it's not art.
Now, before we get started, I just have a gift offering to make on behalf of myself to all of y'all.
These are smart, intelligent, charismatic, attractive people.
Pride's the highest sin.
Yep.
And the reason for that is that every other sin is related to pride. So fundamentally, pride is my way. After every Mardi Gras period, and we're in a Mardi Gras period right now, whether we like it or not, we're in a Mardi Gras period. But after every Mardi Gras period, there's always a Lent. And really the question is, will it be forced upon us or, take it upon our hearts? Yeah. One of my favorite awkward expressions, KO, it's circumcise your hearts, y'all. Yeah. And it's like, the answer's right here to the meaning crisis. It's right here. This is the answer. Dialogos. And so I found my community. I found my people. And now there's only one thing left to do.
Only one thing left to do. Ready? Yes, sir.
Make the actual game. I found the edge of my channel. I sailed to the edge, to the end of this particular world. However, something else I discovered is that we think worlds are only horizontal. But the truth is, when you break that frame, when you move outside the world, it also scales vertically.
He talked about living in the moment, not worrying about tomorrow. He jumped in a boat and off he went to see where he would land. And then they floated off into the ocean.
So, with absolutely no knowledge or any reason to support his action, one of the group hangs and drops into the fog. We had stopped, and we heard a voice which said, "You cannot see me, but I know exactly where you are from your voices."
But I just can't get there. I can't cross the river. I can't make the leap of faith.
So, well, let's ask this question. The next question will be, what exactly have you leapt into?
So like right now we're dancing in a particular area of the dance floor. Even though it may seem like a failure, it seems like dancing is off, or I'm not dancing correctly, or my moves are off, but you're still dancing. Then you make a leap of faith into something that they said that it shouldn't be. Like somebody else's idea of what faith should look like. Well, nobody's dancing for you. You have your own dance to dance.
At some point, you gotta act. It might mean asking the girl out. It might mean taking a risk. It might mean all sorts of things.
But I make the leap of faith anyway, because I believe it to be necessary. Part of the whole point is the reconciliation of the opposites, the individuation process. It is the paradox in the complete individual. But here's the key. It's the willingness to die for that moral reconciliation.
The pattern is, I give up. I have to give up. The pattern is simple. I give up. I have to give up.
No one can be told what the TLC is. You just have to see it for yourself. If you're okay losing, then you win. And so, expect me when you see me. Godspeed.
They had no destination.